Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Carla from Hope Partnership. Hey, welcome. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for having me.
Welcome. Thanks for coming down. You're a first timer with me. So
I am.
Thanks for coming down. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule.
I appreciate it.
Not a problem. So I was wondering, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what exactly you do for Hope Partnership.
I would love that.
All right.
So I am Hope Partnership's Executive Director, which means that I get to come out and do fun things like this, talk about the organization, and I pretty much have to do everything. I'm the sole paid employee for Hope, so I wear a lot of hats for sure. And I'm really glad to be with Hope. I'm new to the organization. I started in August of last year, so I'm really getting my sea legs and getting out here and getting to meet new folks and really connecting with the community. So it's been great.
Absolutely. Now, Hope Partnership is a nonprofit organization that advocates for facilities and development, affordability, and housing in Lower Middlesex County and the shoreline area, correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
Exactly what we do. And that's really sort of an all-encompassing mission. We started as an advocacy organization, and we've really moved into the real estate development space with our first development, which we were a partner on in Old Saybrook more than 10 years ago, and now we have really made that a big part of our mission to develop affordable housing. So we do rental units.
And where is that piece of property?
So the first property we developed was in Old Saybrook. It's called Ferry Crossing, and it's 16 units of what I call suburban townhouse style homes. And we started that project as a partner 11 years ago, but we now wholly own it. So,
nice.
So yeah, so we're really proud to take over full ownership of that project. And so Hope has really grown a lot in the last 5 years, and that's sort of, we're in an exciting time for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
And as far as, so I understand that Hope was founded almost 20 years ago in Old Saybrook.
Yes. And so our founding, it's really sort of a great origin story of how it was told to me. One of the founders of Hope was driving down Route 1, and they were stuck behind a school bus, and they were a little bit frustrated because they had somewhere to be, and then they realized that the school bus was stopping at all the motels. Right. And that said to them, wow, there are families living in these motels. And that sort of got the conversation started with that person and a variety of like-minded folks in Old Saybrook to say, there's something missing in our town. There's a resource here that we need to develop, and that was affordable housing. And so fast forward, we then, after many years of advocacy and getting out there and sort of spreading the word about affordable housing and the need for it, we started developing it ourselves. And so we really are doing both now. We're continuing to sort of educate the public, but now we're actually also building the housing and having the housing available for folks in these communities.
Now, obviously, you guys have a board of directors. Is it a pretty big board? Or?
We do, yeah. So it's grown in the past year. We now have 17 folks on our board.
Okay.
And we're really lucky. We have a very a wide variety of folks who have come to serve and be part of Hope's mission. And it's really, I mean, it's great work and it's fulfilling work, and we have a very active board. There are some nonprofit boards where you might not need to do as much because they have a large staff. Not the case with us. So our board members are really absolutely essential for the organization to continue.
I think I know a couple members of your board.
You do.
I do.
You do. Yep. Yeah. We're really lucky to have a lot of folks who are well known in their communities, and they spend a lot of good time working on a good cause.
Absolutely.
So we're very grateful.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about I guess Hope Partnerships is, you guys are doing a project in Centerbrook, the loft at Spencer's Court.
Yeah, so we actually, our most recent project to open was the Lofts in Spencer's Corner in Centerbrook, and that's 17 units of apartment style. housing.
Sure.
And that project is really special because it's something called an adaptive reuse project, which is where you take an existing building and you convert it to a different use. So where our project is located in Centerbrook used to be commercial condos, and it was all business. And so now the second and third floors are our residential units, and the bottom floors are all independently owned commercial and retail spaces.
Yes.
So it's really a great sort of community anchor to have all these different uses in one cool place.
Absolutely.
In Centerbrook. So it's been a fantastic project, and we're really proud of it, and sort of want to demonstrate it as a model across Connecticut to say this is what you can do in small towns.
Right. Now, as far as your coverage area, do you guys just cover Middlesex County, or do you cover most of the state?
Yeah, so right now we sort of think of ourselves as working in small to medium-sized towns in Middlesex County and along the shoreline. And so for us, I think really the size of the town really is the important piece. We think of ourselves as sort of experts in a small Connecticut town, and we sort of feel comfortable operating in those towns and know what folks might want and know how the layout and the planning might go for towns like that. So that's really sort of our service area right now.
Now, as far as generally speaking, what is affordable housing?
It's a great question.
You like that?
So I do.
All right.
So affordable housing has a couple of different meanings. In our case, when we use it, we are talking about deeded affordable housing. So that means that it is specified in its existence that it has to be rented out at under market rate, and that's determined by the government, and we are we're really committed to that model. There are also other types of affordable housing. There are things like government-backed mortgages, and those are for home buyers. That's another type of affordable housing. And there's also naturally occurring affordable housing, which is really just any housing out there in the world that's being rented at lower than market rate. And so we just focus on one part of that, which is the deeded affordable housing, and we do rentals.
Now, as far as rentals, obviously rental prices are pretty...
Yes. They're high.
High?
Yeah. They're high in general, and thankfully we are able to offer them at much lower rates. And so the way that our model works is each of our units is restricted to individuals or families making up to a certain threshold of the area median income. So we have a median, we have an income mix of 25%, 30%, 50%, 60%, 80%, depending on which community you're in and which unit. So it's really, some of these are deeply affordable for folks.
Now, do the units differ in size and differ in what they look like inside, or are they pretty much a... Yeah, there's some standardization, obviously, across units, but they are different sizes. We have 1 and 2 and 3 bedrooms currently that we build, and then our newest project will just be 1 and 2 bedroom units. And one thing we didn't talk about in the first segment, what is your mission statement for the organization?
Yeah, so our mission statement really is to build vibrant communities through making sure that folks have safe, secure, and affordable housing. And that's really our goal. And we think that affordable housing is really a backbone of towns, and it can really be a tremendous resource.
Absolutely, and especially with the location where you guys are in Centerbrook and the location in Saybrook, you're right downtown. You're close to, you're within walking distance to I'd say pretty much everything in both of those towns, because I know both of those towns pretty well.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, so access to transit and to other services is really important when you're citing a project for affordable housing, because you want folks, to your point, to be able to walk to where they need to get to, or to hop on a bus, or in some cases maybe get the train. And so I think those are things that are really important in affordable housing generally at this time, but are also sort of really important to us and when we're citing a project. So we totally agree.
Now, as far as if somebody's interested in finding out more information, is there, obviously there's a website, but is there like an application process or some sort of?
There is, yeah.
Of course there is.
Yeah, of course. So applying for deeded affordable housing is a little bit more labor intensive than applying for regular housing. It requires more of sort of a deep dive into folks' finances and things like that. So the way that it works for us is we have a property management company that manages that application process, and because we don't have any vacancies, they also manage a wait list. So we definitely refer folks to apply and be included on the wait list, even though we don't have any vacancies right now.
Right. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
I would love to.
All right, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights. Vests.
Please, give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job.
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please.
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
Move over.
You matter.
You matter.
You matter.
And your words matter too.
Your words matter.
What you say in the hallways at school or in the student section at a game matters.
Words can be hurtful.
Words can be offensive.
Words can leave scars.
Words can also inspire.
Support
and uplift.
You and your words.
Are they both important?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Carla from Hope Partnership. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we were talking a little bit about, before the break, about the application process if people want more information, and how much, I'm going to use the word fun, filling out the application process is.
Right.
Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So I would always encourage folks to go on our website, take a look at the application, because you can download it directly from our website, which is hope-ct.org.
Yeah.
Just to familiarize yourself with it. Take a look, see if it's something that you really do want to pursue. To your point, it can be a lot of fun. And, you know, really make sure that you have all the information that you would need before you start filling it out, before you start working with our property management firm to get on the wait list.
Gotcha.
That would definitely be my first recommendation. And then once you are in a good place with that, you then move towards contacting our property manager, and then she starts to walk you through the process to finalize the application.
Start to finish, how long does this application process take?
You couldn't put a timeline on it, because it really just depends on every single person. Exactly.
Depends on the person, depends on the paperwork that you got to fill out.
Exactly. It depends on all the little details about you and your family, and how long you know, you need to get certain information. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the units are pretty nice, pretty affordable?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we are, you know, in addition to being affordable, I think the focus has to also be on safe and secure. And to us, that means they're clean, they're updated. You know, we keep on top of anything that, you know, breaks and needs to be replaced. And that's really important to us as an organization too, that it's not just affordable to folks, but that it's really, it's quality housing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, from what I understand, we also have a development in Madison called Wellington at Madison.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This is our next project. We're a partner on Wellington at Madison. We're working with a Massachusetts-based nonprofit developer named the Caleb Group. And this is going to be 31 units when it's done.
Wow.
24 of those will be affordable and 7 will be market rate. There are 4 units on the property already, 4 market rate ones. So folks actually do already live there, but we're building, the additional 27 soon, and we're hoping to break ground on this project in the summer. So it's going to be a really, really cool project. We're really excited.
Of course, everything
about it.
over at Wellington and Madison is located within like walking distance to downtown. And
it's not quite walking distance to downtown, but it's right across the street from Hammonasset. So it's got other great aspects of this particular site. And there are some other amenities nearby, and so it'll be a really great project when it's finished. And one thing we're excited about for this project is there's a historic home on the project, and we're actually going to renovate that, and there are going to be 4 units inside the historic home. So it's going to be really, really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
That sounds definitely cool. Now, as far as why do we need affordable housing in Connecticut, and why do we need affordable housing in our region?
So we need affordable housing in Connecticut because we've had years of what I would describe as underdevelopment. We just haven't really been building that much. And until very recently, building permits were down year over year, month after month. We're just building fewer homes, fewer places for folks to live. And so now we really need to start creating those housing opportunities to get back to what is sort of a baseline for demand. And that's not even considering folks that might want to move from out of state for economic development purposes as well. And then, right here in the region, we have some of the highest housing costs in the state in some of our towns. A few of the towns where we operate are on the top 25 to 30 most expensive homes lists in Connecticut. And so when you're on that list, it means that we really need to diversify our housing stock. We need other types of housing in these towns, because even in these high opportunity towns where you may have a lot of folks who are high income, we still see 25 to 30% of people in a lot of towns being what's called housing burdened. And that means that you spend more than 30% of your income on your housing costs.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's considered sort of the threshold for what's comfortable for a person or for a family. And once you get past 30%, it starts to get very tight and kind of tough to manage.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, especially with how did you guys handle the start of the pandemic to where you are now? And I'm sure it was not very much fun.
Yeah, it's so the really interesting part is that we developed the lofts at Spencer's Corner in the pandemic. Most of the construction was done in 2020, so we really, it was amazing that we were able to get it done the way that we were, despite what was going on with the pandemic. But what I will say is that the pandemic also really impacted housing in particular, because we saw that sort of wildness for the real estate market, and we saw prices just go through the roof. And so what that means is that even more folks are looking for affordable housing because the stock isn't there. They really just can't afford to buy a single family home because it's really expensive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as far as what is special about Hope's model?
So we have a model that is pretty different from a lot of organizations that develop affordable housing. And the way that our model differs is that we focus on small to mid-sized developments in small to medium-sized high opportunity towns. So that means that we're bringing affordable housing to places where there's not much that already exists. And there are a lot of great opportunities in these towns where we're developing the housing. And it also means that the housing that we bring is architecturally appealing. It fits in with the neighborhood, with the community.
Sure.
And that's important to us too. We want folks to feel like these are real assets and real resources to the entire community, not just to the folks, you know, that are living in our housing.
Absolutely. And what are the challenges to adding more housing in our region?
There are a couple, and I think that, you know, one that folks are aware of is there are zoning restrictions that make it hard to develop. So there are lots of places in the towns where we operate where you can't even put 2 units on a single lot, much less 15, right?
Yeah.
And so that would make developing affordable housing a lot easier. The other thing we talk about a lot, and we hear about a lot from towns, is the concerns about having sewer and wastewater treatment. But really, there are a lot of options there nowadays that we don't need that necessarily to do a project. And for the size of our projects, we can usually do them other ways. So, you know, I think it takes a lot of collaborative effort from everyone in the community to sort of come together on these issues and say, this is something we're going to prioritize, and we're going to figure out how to make this work in our town specifically.
Now, how can people get involved in advancing affordable housing?
So we would love for more folks to be discussing this and having this as part of their normal dialogue with their leaders in their town, letting them know that this is an important issue to them and that they'd like to see it happen for them and their community. And, you know, we also are always looking for volunteers to get involved with HOPE. You know, you don't have to join our board. We also let, you know, members of the public join committees if they just want to help us here and there. But it would be, you know, it's rewarding to be able to provide such a basic, important part of someone's life to them, and so we would love to have more folks involved.
Now, what types of folks are you looking for, and what types of, I'm going to call it areas of expertise?
Sure, yeah. So we, you know, having a property development or a real estate development background is always helpful, but it's not necessary. Gotcha. I think the biggest thing is that folks just need to be really well-versed and knowledgeable about their community. I think that's what HOPE has sort of built its brand on and its reputation, is that we're really a homegrown, local grassroots organization that is in touch with our communities. We're involved with our communities, and we know what will work, and we know all the folks who are involved as well. And so that's the number one. But we, you know, also are interested in folks that would like to see the organization grow. So if you have ideas and resources about making that happen, then that would be great.
Absolutely. And obviously your board is very active, and they get out in the community to get the word spread on the organization.
Yeah, I think you're talking to one of my my committee members, the chairs, soon. So they're always out and talking to folks and making sure that people are aware of affordable housing as a need in our community.
Absolutely. Now, how, in your personal opinion, how important is affordable housing in the community, especially within the region that we're here in this area?
Yeah. So I will say that we field calls and inquiries constantly, and those really range from folks who are looking for affordable housing for them or a family member to people who are interested in developing affordable housing themselves. So I think that over the past few years, it's become really top of mind for a lot of people in our region, but you know, across Connecticut and even across the nation. So I think as housing costs continue to be something that folks are concerned about, I think it's going to only become an even bigger concern.
Now, how important is it to you and everybody on the board to get out there in the community and get involved, and more importantly, get the word spread on HOPE Partnership?
It's, you know, it really is what HOPE was based on. It was, we were founded on was this idea of working in concert with the community, with neighbors, to come together around such an important issue and really give back to our communities and make sure that they are as strong and resilient as they can be.
Absolutely. Now, as far as information on the website, what can people find, and what is that website?
Sure. So our website is hope-ct.org.
Okay.
And in addition to being able to find the applications for our existing communities, Ferry Crossing and Lofts at Spencer's Corner, you can also find out a little bit more generally about affordable housing, and if you are so inclined, you can also donate to us if you like the work that we do and want to support us. Then that's also an option through our website.
And obviously, every donation is not too small to
No,
give.
yeah, we
as you know as well as I do.
Exactly. We welcome any contribution, and even if you don't give monetarily, we would love to be in touch and hear from you and know what's going on in your community. If you have thoughts about how you think Hope can be helpful, we love to connect.
And obviously, if somebody calls and leaves a message, you'll get back to them.
We do, yes. It's very important for me to get back to folks promptly. So.
Absolutely. And again, website one more time.
It's hope-ct.org.
Carla from Hope Partnership, thanks for some time, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Cool. On behalf of Carla, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next time.